Those are the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome inside the Tuesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, one of our favorite sponsors. And like DJ said last week, signed on for another year with us at YSN. So we continue to thank them for their constant support of not just this show, but everything on YSN. This is Tuesday, and DJ, welcome into the new week. What's been going on your side of the things?
Oh, busy, man. I feel like I haven't had time to kind of put my feet down even to start the week. So exciting things happening seemingly at every turn, and looking forward to announce them. Like Legends is officially on board. The new restaurant out in Boardman behind, let's see, what are they behind? The Arby's there, or what it used to be. Is it still there? The Arby's? I think so.
Yeah.
Five Guys, Jimmy John's in that plaza with like the tropical fish. Right next to that is Legends, and I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be out there tonight from 7:30 on with South Range doing the player profiles and coaches corners live out there from Legends food and drink. So if you're around, stop by, wear your burgundy and gold, and let's talk some South Range Raider football and otherwise tonight. And of course, don't forget 7:00, the Golden Dawn. Steve and Quinn will be out there. Romo will be out there, and they're going to talk some Irish sports as well. So that's really starting to take off for us.
When we talked on Thursday, you couldn't reveal the spot yet. It wasn't official that Legends was going to be the spot for South Range yet. You released it on Friday before our games. It was one of the things that you did personally on your Facebook, and then we shared on YSN. So now that we can talk about it, I mean, how excited are you that like you said, this idea of doing coaches' corners and player profiles live at venues is starting to really kick off, and we're getting more and more places interested in hosting not just us at YSN, but more importantly, welcoming in players from their respective communities and saying we want us to be the hosts to these players and these coaches and have live player profiles and coaches' corners at our establishment.
Well, it's something we've always wanted to do. I mean, since day one, I thought it makes a lot of sense to have kind of that sports setting, whether it's a restaurant or whatever. And I know you have to be very careful with, where you go, because, you still have to have that moral compass. And I think we've done a good job of identifying some great places, some signature places inside of communities. And we're looking to do that with everybody. There's teams out there that still need a home. So if you're a restaurant or a business that you'd love to have kind of remote broadcasts from, and we would do the coaches' corners and player profiles out there as much as we possibly can, then sign up. Become an advertiser with us. It's more than just seeing your name across the screen. We get engaged. It truly is a partnership. One that I'll break here, Anthony, as we talked about Legends. Rick Frida, who is to me a legend in this area. A great businessman, a great human being. He's got a great family. He has been at Compco for 43 years, and he is one of the principal owners of Legends Bar and Grill, Food and Drink. And he's going all in with us. He's Legends and Compco. So we'll be doing things with Compco that I'm looking forward to announcing, because actually Quinn and I sat at one point before. Was it before? I think it was before COVID. And, doing some really cool things that make winning a championship that much more special. So we're looking forward to working with Compco. We're looking forward to working with Legends and all of our sponsors. So really big stuff happening. And again, like it's all starting to work. It's all starting to come to fruition. But, we've been doing this for 5-6 years now, and people certainly have taken notice. And they say in business, 5 years is where you kind of learn where you're going. And then after 5 years, it's time to go to the moon. So strap up, young man.
Can you announce who's going to be the debut players and featured for Legends tonight for South Range?
Yeah, of course, we'll have Coach Dan Yeagley, as we always do, and that's always a great conversation. And we're going to go with the offensive line right to start things off. They'll be eating some great food at Legends, and guys that don't get a whole lot of coverage that are doing big things at South Range. So we want to get them covered. We might see a special guest or two as well from the skill set players, because we want them all to be involved and all to be there each and every week at Legends 7:30 on Tuesdays. So we're excited. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Last night we had results come in, some really cool results from the volleyball realm, and we'll start with yet another milestone that has been hit. Grace Hour. We talked about her last week because on the network she broke the school record for career aces with 188 and counting. And last night she got her 1,000th career assist in nothing short of a triple-double performance. 19 assists, 10 kills, 10 digs. She puts up triple doubles like it's her job. She does it last night in a non-conference game. They've only played 2 non-conference games so far this season, but Crestview hasn't lost a set yet.
Heartland's a doggone good team too, man. There's a lot of heritage that comes from Heartland. And, that was a game that I wish I had known, because I was thinking about doing that game and I was like 50-50. I'm like, you know what? I need going into this week. Monday is my only night off. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a knee on this one. Had I known Grace was going to get it, I probably would have been enough to nudge me to go over to Crestview and get it. So I apologize to all the hours.
We had some other great results come in too. How about Lakeview? Lakeview goes into Canfield and they kind of put their stamp on this season, and they haven't lost a set in 21 straight set win streak they're on right now. They beat Canfield pretty handily in Canfield's home gym, and that's a good Canfield team. Lakeview, I think they're making a kind of a statement this week. They have Gerard on Thursday.
Real deal. Like, they are the real deal. And we got to hear from Maggie last week and, ask her some of the tough questions about, is this the year? Is this the year you've all been craving and wanting? And, she answered it very eloquently. And she says, basically, I'm paraphrasing here, this is what we asked for, so right. You prayed for these days, and they're going out and they're showcasing it. So good for them.
What I like about this team, DJ, we've talked to a couple of players. We're probably going to talk to some more before the season is over. The theme from when we asked about last year was, and they're honest about it, they got kind of complacent. They'd won back-to-back NE8 championships. They only lost one NE8 match up until last year in the 3 years that it had been a conference. And they got a little bit complacent, and Gerard kind of came up from behind them and took the NE8 from them last year. And so this year, there's no complacency. They're not taking anything for granted. They got right back to the hard work, right to the grind, and I think they're proving what a good program they were, despite the fact that they didn't win the NE8 last year.
Well, it's easy to train like you're in second place when you get it, right? It's the real champions that showcase, year after year. That's why the Patriots, to me, people look at the Patriots, in NFL like, okay, it was this. That was a dynasty, a true dynasty. I mean, being able to stay humble, stay hungry for year after year, and especially stay hungry, because you get a piece of that cake, and it's easy to kind of sit on the couch and not go after it. I think Lakeview is looking to make up for lost time,
right?
And last year was a missed opportunity for them, and it's now or never for them. And they've got some great opportunities. They've got great leaders that I think they can build something special if the underclassmen kind of watch and see what's going on and understand how hard you have to work to be a champion. And, Lakeview is putting on a clinic right now, my friend.
They have some battles ahead. Like I said, Thursday they will host Girard in the second matchup of the season with the Indians. They also have a non-conference game at the end of the season when they travel to Kirtland, which is a very good Division III team in volleyball. So,
Shocker.
some very quality competition still left on Lakeview's schedule. So, still plenty of time for them to shine bright against great volleyball competition heading into tournament. So, congratulations to them on another win. Fitch went into Western Reserve last night, won their 7th straight. They beat the Blue Devils in 3. Ty got a chance to get a post-game interview with Afton Roby, who is one of the middle blockers of that Fitch offense that really kind of let Jocelyn Jordan move to the outside her junior season, because they had another middle in Afton Roby come up and take her place out of the middle. We all know how much moving to the outside let Jocelyn Jordan grow as a player. So Afton Roby got the player of the game against Western Reserve. Her post-game interview is up now on ysnlive.com. Ty Bartell does a great job with that. Fitch gets their 7th straight victory last night.
I mean, not much to say here. It's just, Fitch is turning that corner as we head towards the home stretch here. And, a team that's led by a player that's absolutely fire and Jocelyn Jordan, I think. And again, just another example, not to kind of be a broken record here, but just another example how leadership in the senior level and the upperclassmen level sets your team up for success. And Fitch, when I look at their roster, they got sprinkles of all kinds of upper and underclassmen. It's not just, hey, we're all seniors or we're all sophomores. I mean, they're kind of all over the place, and that usually bodes well for a program.
I was in Mooney, and it was Mooney that got the 5-set thrilling victory over Liberty. Shocker, Liberty plays another 5-set match. They've been doing it all season. They've been able to win most of them. They weren't able to come on top in this one. It was back and forth all night. The 4th set, Liberty was down 7-1 to start, and they lived up to their name, the Cardiac Cats, as they came back and won set 4. In set 5, they were down, I think, 10-6. They scored 7 points in a row to take a 13-10 lead. They only needed 2 more points. But then Moody had their best impression of their own comeback, as they scored 6 of the last 7 points in set 5 to win it 16-14. Big win for a Mooney program under a new head coach, trying to find traction, trying to find consistency. And that's a big monument, momentum bringing win. They had to Fitch on Thursday, so they needed all the momentum that they could possibly get out of that game.
Is that a turnaround opportunity for Mooney? You know what I mean? To a signature win over a tough team. I mean, Liberty, you can say what you want about it. Yes, we always make the jokes about the Cardiac Cats and stuff like that, but they are a team that I think we've identified it is hard to put away. And
Right. Oh.
and they, to be able to do it last night when other teams couldn't, I think that's a feather in the hat of Carter Mooney. And I think you can move forward feeling good about that win. And maybe, just maybe, it could be a signature win moving forward.
I think it is, because what it did, one, it let Amara Anderson, who is their outside hitter, up probably her best match of the season. So she's starting to really find her own groove. So when you have her in the outside, when Marissa Bowman, their senior leader, rotates out of the front row, Amara Anderson can shine really bright. She started to have success out of the outside. So if they get her going, then that's another hitter that Addison Stacy, who once again, a setter for Mooney that is replacing Angelina Rotuno, who's one of the best of their program, has ever had. But that's a senior setter that is still trying to leave her mark on the program. So a lot of seniors in this Mooney program that still had to sit back and wait for the great senior class that was there last season with Elena Francis, Elena Scavina, Angelina Rotuno. So there's senior leadership that have been there, that are upperclassmen, but they're still kind of new to the varsity floor consistently. So a lot of same faces in new spots. That's what Coach Shaheen told us when we previewed the season with her a couple of weeks ago. It feels like a month ago. It probably was a month ago now that the volleyball season is in that stretch. But when we previewed the season with her, one of her main takeaways was there was a lot of same faces that have been in the program, but they're in different spots. So I think they're starting to find a groove. I think they're starting to kind of get used to the new spots that they're in on the floor.
I don't doubt it. I mean, that was a great explanation, and I don't even have anything to add. You got me speechless.
When you look at it, Boardman got the win over South Range, and one of the guests that we're going to have on the show today, Gia Traveri, had a great night, led the team in kills with 9. It was a balanced offense for Boardman. I know they've been struggling with that tough schedule that they've put together, but big win for Boardman. Another one that could be a turning point for their season, like Mooney's over Liberty.
I mean, South Range is again a quality opponent, and playing up to play Boardman. I mean, these are games. I don't want to sit there and say these are games they should win, but these are games that matches they should win, and they should be kind of building blocks towards what they're trying to create. Look at this one. Tim Porter says Orange hosts Beechwood tonight. Should be fun. So those of you who don't understand, we hear West Branch Salem. We hear what are some other ones? Was
Mooney,
McDonald,
Ursuline.
Ursuline, Mooney, Columbiana,
Springfield,
whoever.
South Range.
Yeah. So this is Orange and Beechwood is that. It's that, and they are right next to each other. They respect the heck out of each other, but they don't like each other very much all the time. So make sure you tune in for that one tonight. It's sure to be what we call back home a slobber knocker, and I'm excited for it. Again, Orange, we love having them on. Tim is such a great athletic director, gives us everything we need, and obviously from a standpoint of us in this area, the Northeast Ohio, technically region, we'll get to taste a little bit of what it's like up there, up there in Cleveland, and bring a little piece of it home. And that's what we're trying to do. And obviously, they're trying to look at us and say, this is the kind of coverage that we want. So it's a nice trade-off for what we do. So make sure if you have a minute, it's going to be up on the live page. Make sure you check out Orange and Beechwood tonight. Going to be a classic.
Their field hockey team was on the
Yes.
limelight last night, and I got a chance to just sneak in on it before my game started, and it was such a fun broadcast, and that sport really intrigues me because it's almost like you're just taking hockey and you're putting it on grass, and the clubs they use it's like the little hook.
Yep, it's like
and,
an upside down umbrella kind of.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Tim actually gave me, when we were meeting, I asked him about field hockey. I said, listen, there is a 0% chance any of our announcers are going to know what they're talking about. He hands me the actual club the actual stick thing they use. It's wild, man. It was like a weapon. It was something I've never seen before. And we're just happy to have it covered. That's another check of the box, man. Field hockey, cross country, got it. All
boxing.
Oh yeah, we got that too. We had boxing before though.
Did we? I thought we had wrestling. I didn't know if we had boxing.
We had wrestling, and I think we had a boxing match as well, if I'm not mistaken. Oh. I don't remember being there, but I for some reason remember we covered it. So I don't know. I mean, just another check the box, and again, Orange has some really neat. We're going to do a lot of tennis in the spring. Yep. Because they have some state champs, like guys that are going to be going for state champ, and their girls program is very good too in tennis. Swimming and diving, we're going to be diving back. No pun intended. We're going to be diving back into, but they have some really cool programs that we're going to highlight. And we talked about it yesterday a little bit. Some of the options that these teams and schools districts might have. Had they not enough players, you know what I mean, all the time for the regular sports. I mean, it takes a lot of people to play football. It takes a lot of people to play baseball. In some of these sports, swimming and diving, non-contact sports, don't get a whole lot of injuries, but there is a niche for it. So, I love what Orange is doing. I think it's fantastic. I think everybody, if you're around there, if you've never been there, it's a small campus. It's beautiful. There's a lot of stuff that they're going to be doing in the near future to even more beautify it. And that's a word. I'm excited. And again, I've heard rumors about Beechwood and Orange. I can't wait to tune in and see how it goes tonight.
Yeah. And I love when we get new schools, just kind of figure out who their rivals are. Cause every school has one. Every school has that one school that they get amped up for a little bit. So when we get new schools, it's nice to dive into who's that one team on the schedule that you really circle a couple of times and say, this is the one. This is the team that we have to beat this year. And for Orange, like you said, it's Beechwood. I remember for Edgewood, it's Jefferson, that inter-Ashtabula County rivalry, traveling trophy in football and traveling trophy in some other sports too. It's nice to see some of these new schools and get introduced to new rivalries around the block.
If you talk to the 440 and goal guys, they'll tell you that everybody's a rival of every team. It's and I respect that, but like we're talking real rivalries here. We're talking like there's no love lost for either team. You know, we can make we do. That's how we do what we do. We make every game feel like it's going to be
Right.
game 7 of the World Series. But when you're cutting it out brass tacks, like you talk rivalries, who are the rivals?
You don't have traveling trophies in every game, so I think I when you have a trophy on the line, that always gives me a little bit of extra bonus.
Nice to be eating lunch. Well, I'm not eating lunch. Nice to be hanging out at lunch, I guess, Sorrel.
Oh,
good seeing you.
We appreciate it. Lunchtime with Running Point. That's what we like to see. I know we get a lot of our interviews are during lunchtime.
Well,
a lot of our
as
student athletes are giving up their lunch period.
as
to
long
do
as our
this.
takes aren't making people lose their lunch, I think we're
Right.
okay.
Please no. No, I think we have pretty tasteful takes. That's what
I
we're.
will keep that opinion to myself.
All right. Let's move on.
No,
Springfield Volleyball got the win last night over the other side of the MVAC, and they kind of trekked over to the gray tier. They beat Brookfield in straight sets, and two names that maybe not be talked about a lot in volleyball yet, but should be. The Brungard duo in Jamaica Brungard and Balin Brungard are putting on a show for this offense. They both led the team last night, and Jamaica has made a lot of strides since last year. And then Balin has just come in as kind of a new shining star to add to Maddie Lesnack, who we know, and JC Mullen, who we know are just great athletes. Now they have two other dynamic weapons in their front row to make the Tigers a little bit sharper on their bite.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you got a Brungard in the lineup,
Right.
man, just look out. Look out. And I'm not saying back down. I'm saying look out because they're there to play every single time.
You got a couple on the lineup. You got one on the coaching staff. It's a Brungard heavy volleyball team.
And I bet they're okay with that.
And I think they're okay with that. I think Tiger Country kind of likes that. Speaking of volleyball, we are going to be joined by our live guest today from Boardman, Gia Traveri, one of their leaders, hopping on with us. We are so happy that she's able to join us from, I think, Coach Birch's room, setting up in there. Gia, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let me get out of this color. Let me get you guys some maroon.
Gio, while he's worried about colors, let's talk about how this year has been different. You've been an excellent leader for this team. Who or what kind of influenced you to step up?
So last year, I recently joined volleyball again my junior year, and I really looked up to Jenna Alexa, like when she was a senior last year and I was a junior. And I feel like her positivity always led me wanting to be that kind of leader when I was a senior. So I kind of just base mine off of hers, and I just want it to be a positive area where everyone has fun. So I just feel like that's pretty much what made me want to lead like that.
So obviously your leadership was one of your goals coming into this season. What were some other goals that you had for yourself personally coming into this year that you kind of wanted to achieve this volleyball season?
Yeah. So my main goal was not to get so upset with myself when I make certain errors. And I feel like I've done way better this year than last year, of not showing my emotions on the court and just keeping it to myself. Last year I would definitely show my emotions, and I feel like this year I'm way more calm about it, and I feel like that makes my playing better as well, and my team cool and collected as well.
So when we talk about your family, the Traveri name, we're talking about people that are well established, great people, great athletes. What are some of the traits that you've learned from big brother or mom or dad or anybody in that family that really kind of led you to be the person you are today?
Definitely hard work. I think my brother is like the hardest worker I know. He works for everything. He's always working out, working like on baseball and stuff. And like, he's really like grown like as a person and a player. And my dad too, he's really like always wants the best for us. And I just feel like that is what kind of made me where I am today. So I'm like very thankful for them.
I imagine it's a competitive family. Who do you think? Who do you think brings the most competitive action to the table, to the family table?
I think I do, to be honest.
Spoken like a true competitor, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what are some of the things that you guys compete in as a family? I know we talk a lot about family game night and things of that nature.
Yeah.
What is it like to be in the house on a Friday or Saturday night in the Traveri household?
Pretty much like we compete over a lot of things. Like sometimes like me and like my sister will go out and play like 1v1, always like fighting on who's winning that because we do pretty close in that. Just usually like I feel like everything's always a competition too. And like, I mean, I think I get the most like mad and stuff about it, but I feel like just everything we do is a competition, but I feel like it's honestly a good thing and it like makes everything just more fun around there.
Do you guys kind of use competition to decide something like, okay, I want the TV, we both want the TV, let's go play some one-on-one to decide who gets the remote?
Yeah, or we just like fight over it, you know?
So from a standpoint of Boardman, I mean, Boardman I know means a ton in your family. To have the maroon and white running through your veins, you have been such a great kind of I don't know, representative of Boardman when you think about it. Why does it drive you, I guess? What is about wearing those uniforms, those jerseys drives you to be the best you possibly can be each and every night you go out and compete?
I think that what really drives me is I love Boardman and I like love watching us succeed at things because sometimes like it is hard, but I feel like winning and stuff really like plays a big part in everything. And I feel like I hate to lose. So I feel like that's what really drives me. Like I can't stand losing. So I always just like want to win. And I feel like that's what really makes me want to always win.
In volleyball, you get to be coached by one of the more respected coaches in the area, and Coach Birch, who is a coaching family because Pat Birch coaching the basketball team, Melissa coaching the volleyball team. What kind of things have you taken from Coach Birch yourself about the sport of volleyball, about yourself, and what kind of things have you learned under her coaching?
I think that she does a really good job at always keeping the area just such a positive place, and I think that's where we really like needed like to do with like last year. I think we needed more positivity, and I feel like this year we have so much positivity, and I feel like she does a really good job with that.
All right, from a standpoint of where you want to be as you kind of continue your career, I mean, you are a multi-sport athlete. What is it that kind of speaks to you? Now, you can be a multi-sport athlete in college if you want to be.
Yeah.
Is that something that you see as a possibility, or are you going to take one step at a time and just kind of feel out where you want to go and whatever develops?
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, that's like kind of a hard decision for me right now. I've been like a little stressed about that. I love track, obviously, but like playing volleyball these past like years, I played club for like a season, and I really just love volleyball. And I think it's going to be like so hard trying to like leave. And like, so I'm really trying to look and see if I can go to maybe like smaller division and run track and play volleyball, because I just really love the sport of volleyball, and obviously I love track too. So I just feel like if not, then I would try and go like at a better division for track, because obviously track's like my favorite sport, but it's just tough. It's really tough, to be honest.
I heard a rumor that somebody's trying to really get you out for basketball. Is that true?
Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm playing this year, obviously.
I'm just saying. I mean, it sounds like that there's been a lot of hype around you, young lady, about you and being hoops. And I don't know.
Yes, I know. It's hard. I love basketball too.
I was going to say, I didn't hear you mention basketball.
Yeah, me and basketball have had a love-hate relationship, but I'm starting to love it again, which is good.
New coach, new opportunities this year for basketball. We're obviously going to interview you again during the basketball season, but how cool has it been to see this program kind of shine a light back on the girls hoops team and get some of the former names of past, and then get, guys like Coach Hamilton and Coach Riccatelli. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be great for you.
Oh, I am so excited for this year's basketball season. I get to play with all of my best friends again, and the coaches are literally like family to me. Like, I just feel like that is such a important thing when you're playing a sport, is to feel like family more than like a team. And I feel like these coaches, like coming in, like Hamilton, Riccatelli, Michelle, I feel like they will make everything feel like a family, and I just really can't wait for that.
All these different sports you play, you keep yourself busy. I'm sure time management is something that you juggle with. Have you always been good and organized with your time management skills, or is it something that when you got in high school, you really had to kind of teach yourself how to manage your time better?
Yeah. Really, what my hardest thing was, I did play JO volleyball and I ran indoor track. So I kind of had, and school, like on top of that, I kind of had to like, it was really hard, but I kind of had to pick one because I really just couldn't do both because they were both like interfering with each other. And I had to, unfortunately, like not play volleyball like the last part of the season, which like made me sad. But like I knew I was playing high school volleyball, and indoor track was just a really good year for me. So that's why I chose that.
Gia, what do you want to do when you grow up? I guess is an easy and tough question, right?
I actually have no idea. Like, I really don't know.
Is there anything, from a subject point that you want to study in college?
Probably like more in like the science area, medical. I don't know though.
You got the look down today. You got the glasses on, so it's like you look very studious.
What subjects in high school have given you like the least trouble, and are some of your favorites to put on in the high school realm?
Probably anatomy, honestly. I had really fun last year taking that class, and my teacher was a really great teacher, so I really liked that class.
What has been the most challenging class you've taken at Boardman?
Math, every year. I'm not good at
general math. Like, good for you. We're in the same camp, because guess what, math? You and I don't get along.
Oh, not at all. I don't like math at all.
Do you like the group projects, or do you like to do big assignments by yourself? Are you someone that likes to do the group ones, or do you rather do the work yourself?
Projects. Because everyone puts in, and right. I feel like that gets done quicker.
Now, wait a minute. There's two types of people in that group. There's the guy that lets, or gal that lets everybody do all the work, and there's the people that do all the work. So which one are you, Gia?
I feel like I'm half and half. I do both.
In math, you're probably the person that lets everybody do all the work, I'm guessing.
Yes.
What's kind of been the most fun group assignment that you've been able to do throughout your schooling career?
So I took class last year, astronomy, and we would do these like really cool like star projects and like projects on like different planets and stuff. And we did this one project where you created like a board game, and like you made it like connected like with stars and like space and stuff. And I thought that was like such a cool project. I really liked that one.
All right, if we were to poll your teammates, what would they say that you were the best at outside the floor?
Probably making them laugh.
Oh, you're the funny one. You're the jester.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, who controls the tunes in the locker room, if you even have them?
Cindy Yager.
Who is the most serious?
Probably Cami Goski.
Who is one person or one teammate that you would never want to live without?
Oh, God, this is a hard one.
Or teammates. You could put the S on the end.
Honestly, probably Ava Bozniak. She literally makes me laugh so hard. Ever since I met her, my life's been better.
Who is one teammate who you're really excited from this freshman sophomore class to watch them kind of move up over the years?
Ava Commons, definitely.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
What about a teammate that you would trust to be a getaway driver if you had to get away from somewhere fast?
What are you implying, Anthony?
I don't, you know. Who's the one driver that you wouldn't get in a car with? Who's the worst driver on the team?
Me.
Why? I mean, we got to stop there. Why? Why are you the worst driver?
So I'm just going to tell you guys a little story.
Oh, I'm here for it.
The first week that I got in my new car, like this was last year, I got a new car. First week of getting it, I went to like park on like the side of the road, like not in someone's driveway, you know, when like you park like on like the side, like by the curb.
Yeah.
So I hit the curb and I completely popped my tire. My parents were so mad at me because it was a brand new car. So that's basically why.
That's not bad. That's parking. Like,
I hit the curb though.
But you didn't hit another car, right?
Yes, that is true.
So there you go. See, glass half full right there. See, I'll teach you, Gia. Don't
Right.
worry. I'll teach you how to handle these situations. Okay, so you're the worst driver. We already asked what you were best at from that standpoint. What legacy do you want to leave for your teammates after it's all said and done?
I want to leave here basically being like kind of known as like a very hard competitive worker and never like giving up on my team. Like I feel like getting down and stuff, like, yeah, like that'll happen. But like, I just want them to know that I will like, I've never given up on them, always believed in them. And I just want people to like realize like, that's how I am. And I love winning and I love competing. So I just hope that's how they remember me.
All right, last question I have for you. What is the one hidden talent that nobody knows about Gia Traveri?
Oh gosh. A hidden talent.
Are you a good singer? Like, can you play music?
I could play the piano.
What's your favorite? What do you play on the piano? Because everybody's got one song that they drill because it's like a thing, right? You see a piano and they're like, I can play this. What do you play?
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my hidden talent.
Is it just like one finger, ding, ding, ding? Okay, yep. So you can kind of play the piano. It's not like your Beethoven symphony or anything.
No, I wish.
Got it. Okay, that's all I got for it.
All right, Gia, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us some of your time during your school day. We wish you the best of luck the rest of this season, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Always, Anthony. Just great interviews, you know, getting to know them a little better. Gia comes from one of the best families you'll ever meet. Unbelievable, super supportive of not only their own family, but people that are, if you know the Traveris, you know that you're a good person. You know what I mean? Because they don't put up with fiddle faddle, so to speak. They love being around good people that mean well. So thanks to Gia for taking some time out today.
I feel like a lot of schools have names that when you hear that name, you immediately think of the school. And Traveri, as soon as you hear it, it's like, oh, Boardman, right? So they're kind of entwined in the Boardman legacy, and she's just continuing that.
I just can't wait to see her play hoops, man. Like, I'm so excited for her. I mean, what she's doing on the volleyball court right now is outstanding. But to see her excitement back for hoops, it tells you a lot about what Boardman is doing. The culture is changing. When they hired Jeff Hamilton and they got Riccatelli and Michelle is back. I mean, watch out. I'm telling you right now, watch out for Boardman this year. With her back and some of the players coming back to play for the Spartans, look out.
And Cami Goski's going to be doing a lot of work in the paint for them. And then you have, of course, Mackenzie Riccatelli probably running point again.
I mean, it's going to be a who's who of Boardman, and I'm here for it, man. Can't wait.
It's going to be a good season, and it's really right around the corner. Volleyball ends, well, their regular season ends in less than a month. So we're talking like a month and a half. Some of these teams will be reporting out of volleyball and reporting to the mandatory basketball practices.
All right. I'm excited for it. I'm not ready for it. So that's not like I am. Like, I need a couple Tums before we start talking about hoops. Good.
No, that was a great interview. I also want to thank Coach Birch for setting that up and letting us use her room and her setup for that interview. She was able to let Gia use her room and find a space for it. So we appreciate Coach Birch's help in setting that up, and we look forward to maybe some more Boardman volleyball players as the season goes on.
And by the way, because we're getting text messages and messages on social media, if you want to be interviewed, like, message us. We'd be happy. And it's not like, because I'm getting like, hey, why are we not doing soccer? Why are we doing, like we're here for it. Listen, sometimes we just need a little bit of help. Like, I'm not afraid to be the guy that asks for help, but like, if you want your players interviewed, just send us a note saying, hey, we'd love to see more from this. Seniors are first, typically, they get the first opportunities. But we want to interview everybody. Like, we're trying to work on some great content, and we want to highlight every single person we possibly can. And this show is a great way to do it. So please, between this show, between 12 to 2, and our show, my show, the Power Hour, between 3 to 4, we would love to get, players and coaches lined up. And it doesn't always have to be at a restaurant. It could be this,
For those soccer fans that you mentioned that want itch for more soccer interviews, the rest of the show, we have a couple of soccer interviews that we're going to play for you that I was able to have interview a little bit off the air in the can. And we have Noah Huda, who's one of the most decorated boys soccer players in the area right now, senior for Poland. He's won District Player of the Year. He's played in national soccer teams, came in second in Denver, Colorado in one of the national tournaments. So Noah Huda, you're going to hear from him a little bit later in the show. Also, Lakeview senior Lexi Busafink joined me this morning before the show. So you get to hear from her. Lakeview's undefeated on the season. They play Poland tonight for basically first place in the 88 because both teams are undefeated right now. So we're going to hear from her ahead of a big matchup with Poland.
I mean, when you're talking about any anytime, I feel like, I'm the broken record, right? NE8. But the thing is the NE8 is competitive in almost every sport, and the way that they built that conference. Now they're one team away, right? Jefferson leaves. There's a vacancy. My question to you, Anthony, what team or teams would you want to see in that vacancy?
There have been a lot of names thrown out. I think Howland would fit in there. I think Canfield would fit in there.
Can I give you a suggestion that I
think
thought
Louisville would fit in there.
What about
the Leopards? Are independent right now. They'd love to be in a conference, I think.
What about Cardinal Mooney?
Oh, that's interesting because they just rejuvenated the Steel Valley Conference.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean,
in everything except football.
Yeah, I would love to see Cardinal Mooney. I think they're a perfect fit for that NE8. And there's probably a lot of people that'll be like, no. That's why. Yeah, I can guarantee you that South Range wouldn't back away from it. They don't back away from anything. I mean, they're the smallest team in that conference. Why wouldn't you want a team like Cardinal Mooney with all the rich? And listen, let's face it, they're not the Cardinal Mooney, our granddad's Cardinal Mooney right now. This is a Cardinal Mooney team that I think it would be open to something like that. And I think between you name some good ones, Louisville, I think that's a long drive for a lot of those teams, or specifically 2 or 3 of them, right? Lakeview and Girard, that's a long drive, but Louisville would have to make it more often than not. You talk about Beaver Local, Salem. Who were the other ones you said?
I said Howland and Canfield out of the
Howland
AAC.
and Canfield. But to me, the more I look at Cardinal Mooney, that would make a ton of sense. And bringing them into the conference and saying, hey, let's do this. Now, I don't know if it's a feasibility, like what the agreement is with the Steel Valley Conference. Is it truly a conference? I've yet to have anybody like stamp it and say this is official. You know what I mean? Like their conference games don't feel like conference games.
I don't know if it's like, because I know in like basketball and in baseball and softball they have the Steel Valley. You've won the Steel Valley championship, but I don't know if that's like if there's like a Steel Valley commissioner and it's like an official conference, or if it's just now because all the teams kind of are getting their programs back. Cheney Sports is back. Now there's enough teams that kind of they all play each other again, and they can just say, hey, we're the Steel Valley champions because we've played all these teams and we've beat all these teams. If it's not a, legitimate, like a structured conference, you could probably still play all those teams in your non-conference and say, that's the Steel Valley and we could be a part of the NE8 too. There are plenty of teams that are a part of 2 conferences, OVAC and Buckeye 8, for Wellsville and
which is
Beaver Local.
confusing as all get out.
I know.
It's frustrating because you sit there and you're like, well, we're not really going to worry about this. I mean, Beaver Local, East Liverpool, they're in a conundrum right now because that Buckeye 8 is going south. I mean, and I'm literally geographically, they're going south. There's been conversations about Marietta. I mean, Marietta's what, a 3-hour drive for us. Imagine a player that's in 7th grade on a volleyball on a Tuesday night. You got to drive to Marietta. Like, you're not going to school the next day.
Yeah, that's insane.
So think about that. I mean, I don't know where the rub is anymore about playing teams that are close. Like there's this stigma, like we're not going to play Ursuline, we're not going to play Mooney, we're not going to play East, we're not going to play Cheney, we're not going to play this team, we're not going to play. Can we stop? Can we please just start playing teams? Like, who cares? Listen, nobody wants to lose. Okay, we get it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't schedule games. Get better.
And in the last several years, we've seen plenty of teams welcome in teams from out of state, and they come in and really, to this point, none of those teams from out of state in the last 3 or 4 years have really put up much of a fight. And I'm thinking, why don't we just play someone local and maybe get the same result, maybe not, but you're not getting giant juggernaut matches from these teams you're welcoming in from, Las Vegas, Canada, Buffalo, etc.
Yeah. Siggy says, hard sell on kids to get excited about playing teams an hour plus away. I mean, I remember when we were juniors and seniors, getting on the bus to go to Southern and Wellsville from East Palestine, felt like I got to pack a bag. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, do I have food? Like, am I going to die from starvation?
Yeah.
Do I have 3 drinks? So that way, because it's an hour, really. Right. It's an hour plus on a bus. And then, on the way home, it's 10 times worse because you're exhausted, from playing a sport, and it's in the dark usually. So it's rough. And then when you think about, if you're playing a team 3 hours away and that's in a car, not a bus, whew, I mean, you have to get out of school early,
right?
And then you get back to the school late.
Or be doing your homework on the bus. Which
is, how do you do that?
I couldn't, because like I don't know about you, but if I try to read stuff or try to kind of while I'm in motion, it almost like gives me motion sickness.
Well, not only that, but Anthony, the bus can't travel with lights on.
You got your little
yeah. Like, how are you supposed to do homework?
You tape your phone right to your head.
let's say that's a 3-hour trip, right? Give or take. And then you got a 3-hour trip home. That's 6 hours. You play for 2 hours, let's say. That's an 8-hour day. In addition to the 8-hour day you just put in at school, I mean, that's 16 hours.
What's the benefit of it? Like, what makes that worth it?
That's the question. And to me, it's, well, we don't want to play this team because whatever it may be. We don't want to play this team because in a lot of cases, this is what drives me insane.
Right.
In a lot of cases, it's because nobody does their research, or somebody does their research and others are set in their ways. So we don't want to play this team because they did this in 1996.
Right. Oh, yeah.
What? Like, we're talking 30 years ago, almost 40 years ago about that. Like, you have to have the best interest of these student athletes, or guess what? Like, people sit there and they complain about open enrollment. I'm telling you, 100% certainty, 100% certainty. If I have to open enroll my kid, it's going to be because I'm not playing 3 hours away. I'm not, like, we're not doing that.
As a parent, like,
it's a nightmare.
All these parents are getting off work at 4:35. You have to drive 3 hours. You wouldn't get to your kid's game. There's no way.
Not that, Auntie. It's more of this. It's people are working until 5 o'clock.
Right.
So sometimes you get out at 4 if you're in with your boss, or you explain it to him, hey, I get to my kid's game. If you have to leave at noon on a regular basis to get to your kid's game, there's a problem, because now you're choosing career versus family. And then, as we're going to talk about on the Power Hour today, you're talking cancellations, you're talking, all that stuff that goes into it. How often do you see conference games honestly getting scheduled and canceled because, you know what, we just don't want to play? That's what I'm going to get into at 3:00, because I'm, pardon, earmuffs. I'm pissed about all these cancellations. Canfield just got another game canceled next week. It's unbelievable. And they're sitting
A week in advance. What's the?
That's, my kids are going to be sick in 2 weeks. So just a heads up.
Just a heads up. COVID's coming.
I don't get it, man. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, conferences, it's harder to cancel these games because you have to go look these athletic directors and coaches in the eye at these meetings. Like, you have to go do that. A non-conference game, just like the one we see coming up next week for Canfield, scratch it off and just, go play, ex-boyfriend. You can just, you're gone. You ghost them.
Right.
See ya.
And the only time you have to see that coach is maybe in a district meeting.
Maybe.
You don't have to interact with them.
No. And it stinks because, everybody hides behind COVID. I don't care what they say. Like, listen, there's real cases out there,
Right?
which I get. We saw Liberty and Crestview. There's a real case. It was all valid, but for every one case, there's a handful that sit there and go, "Oh man, we got COVID this week," because they don't want to go play. They don't want to go 3 hours away.
All that
So why
does,
sign that
DJ,
contract?
all that does is almost takes away from the people that are really struggling with it. It invalidates them, because now every time someone says we have COVID, you have to think in the back of your head, do they really?
Oh,
And that's sad, because you should be able to just be sick, and that should be something that people accept. But now it's like, do they, or are they trying to sneak out of it? You don't even know anymore.
That's it, man. And then you can't has anybody ever said, do you really? Like, can you imagine that the cojones on that athletic director to sit here? Do you really? Like, are you serious? Like, you'll lose your job. But in the back of your mind, you have to be like, come on, are you serious? Because here's the other thing is, this is gonna kind of ruin my show, but the reality is, Ant, when you look at this situation, like, again, nobody's canceling. Just cancel. And they don't have to explain anything. So my whole thing is, if you cancel, you forfeit.
Right.
There's no, like, 2020 was 2020. You got your free passes for COVID in 2020, even in 2021. Turn the page. Like, no more cancellations. You cancel, you forfeit. And here's the cherry on top, man. This will guarantee no more forfeits unless they're legit, or no more cancellations unless they're legit. You're out of the playoffs.
Out.
See ya. I mean, we're sitting there and we're going to have the OHSAA say, well, this guy moved from here to here and they can't play for the second half of the season. Okay. What are we doing about the people that are manufacturing diseases out there and cancellations for games they just don't want to play?
To go back to the point of, it hurts the people that are actually going through it. Like, that means that if a 9-1 team literally gets COVID, sorry, that because other people ruined it for you, you have to cancel a game. What can we say?
Because guess what? Now you'll have to answer to your people, right? Because if you're not going into the playoffs because you had to cancel, then there's going to be a lot of parents say, well, did we really have to cancel that? Or did we just not want to do it? I don't understand why some of these people sign these contracts, because they're not worth the ink that is spilt on them. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us. I can't imagine, Canfield coming off a loss, you know what I mean? And they've got a tough Dover team this week. And if you don't have a week 7 game, what does that do to your playoff chances? You might need that game.
Right.
I think they're in. But let's say
it'll hurt their seeding.
Yeah. Like, well, the divisor. Guaranteed the team that cancels they're better off not playing that game than they are
losing it.
Play. And that's That's what drives me nuts. And we're seeing it in volleyball. We're seeing it in football. We're seeing it in baseball and softball. They're hiding behind, they're hiding behind busing. They're hiding, I get it. There's a staffing problem. There's a COVID problem. There's problems in this world that you can get cancellations for. But the problem is people are hiding behind all of them. And they're using them, crying wolf. And then all of a sudden, when it actually does happen, they're screwed.
Right.
Because people are going, no. And that's the problem. Because now there's real problems going on. And there's other people that are like, you guys really want to be better off if we don't.
No one should ever be better off to cancel. That shouldn't be a reality.
Siggy says it affects the next season as well with schedules, especially 2-year deals, or if the conference teams do it, you can't trust them next year. I'm with it. But to me, at least on paper, this looks to happen a hell of a lot more with teams that are non-conference than it does teams in conference.
Right.
Because I think that if you have this happen in conference, it takes care of itself. Because
and that's what we saw last week. That's an in-conference game. We kind of understood what was going on. No one really batted an eye, and no one really, got on Liberty's case because we understood it.
Right. And I'm not trying to sit here and fight everybody. It's not YSN that's not what this is about. What this is about is there's people out there that will just kind of, just in case we need one, we'll sign up for one. And then, that's why 1-year contracts are crap. Like you might as well never, ever sign a 1-year contract. And most of them won't, now you're seeing 2-year, 3-year deals, 4-year deals, whatever it may be. And then, the money split, we'll play you, but we want half of your gate. Okay. Because they need games. But the problem is they look at this and now everybody knows how to do the math. Everybody goes to Joe Idle. Everybody does this. Do we really need this game? Are we losing money by going to this game, by, sending our bus driver there, by, gassing up the vehicle? There's a number of things that can go into effect. But the problem is what are we teaching our kids? What are we teaching them? That it's okay to quit. It's okay to cancel. It's okay to, do what's best for you, not what's right. And that's the sticking point for me.
And then there are the moments where you make that decision, but the kids have nothing to do with it, and they're probably just as mad as everybody else. Like, why aren't we playing right now? Well, sorry, because the people up top made the decision to cancel this game.
The kids, what's funny is the kids don't. It's not that they don't care. It's that they're the last to be asked. Like, how do you feel about this? They'll go to the parents. They'll go to the board. They'll go to the superintendent. They'll go anywhere they need to go except for the people that are affected. And shame on us because we sat here in 2020 pounding the table, right? We want to play. We want to, let them play, all that stuff. And here we are 2 years later, and it's not the OHSAA. It's not the government. It's these schools that have found loopholes that just go, we're not going to play.
We're not going to play. We went from let them play to let's cancel really quick.
It's almost like let's play or we want to play if we can win. We want to play if we that's all.
I like that. Yeah,
that's all it is. It's crap, man. It's crap. You're not teaching your kids anything about anything. Like if you're gonna go 0-10, go 0-10. You know what I mean? But finish.
That's why I have a lot of respect for teams that go into games when they know they are just physically outmatched and they don't care. You can tell them. You can tell in the games that they're still giving what they can, and then that's what they're hanging their hat on at the end of the day. It's not about wins and losses for them. As at the end of the day, it's about I had a commitment to play this game, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my absolute best. And I know those teams are kind of the butt of some jokes around the area and around the other kind of other areas, but there's a lot of respect for teams that kind of go into a game knowing that not only they're probably not going to win, they're probably going to get beat up by a lot, and it's probably not going to be a fun night for them, especially in football because you're getting physically beat up. You're getting manhandled by linemen that are bigger than you. 60 snaps per night. That's a lot to ask of a kid to be like, hey, every night you're going to go out and you're going to do it 10 times in a season, maybe not win a game, but they'd still do it. And that's why I have a lot of respect for those kind of kids.
You know what you're not going to see is inner city districts and inner city kids getting canceled or doing the canceling, I should say. Because, I mean, I could tell you numerous stories that I've heard just in our neck of the woods from inner city. And you sit there, and I'm not going to pretend like I've lived it. You know, I'm part of it now, being who I am and what I do, and on both personal and professional. But I will tell you this, is they will do anything they can and need to do to give those kids a game, because that is the thing that could be saving their life. And there's a lot of kids out there with mental health problems that this game, or whatever game it is, football, volleyball, basketball, we'll name it, right? Field hockey, it is doing a service for their mental health because they're part of something. They feel like they're part of something. And if there are opportunities to steer away from it in today's society, these kids will do it, and it will cost them. I'm not saying it's going to cost them their life, but I'm not saying it's not. And, you know, like, people need to realize this, you know, like the sports is an avenue for growth both in a personal setting and from understanding like how to kind of navigate life a little bit. You know, it's like Rocky said, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Life is going to beat you to your knees, and it will keep you there if you let it. And boy, golly, let me tell you, when you want to hit cancel button on life, it's going to tell you, kiss my grits. You know what I mean? Like it's not how it goes. So again, we've got to be better. We have to be better about understanding what sports means to kids and not setting them up for failure, and not setting each other up for failure either. Go by, you know, abide your contract. If you don't like it, don't sign it the next time. But if you sign a 3-year deal, if you sign a 2-year deal, if you sign a 1-year deal, go forward with it. Stop being a chicken. Stop being someone who's a cop-out, because you're not teaching anybody anything. Right. And that's like how you lay your head at night on the pillow. I'll never know. That's the trouble.
I ask myself that about people more than I probably would like to. How do you sleep doing that? Because they're like, if I make a little mistake on the website, I can't, like, I lose, stress. And so if I ever had made a decision that I knew negatively impacted, a kid or kids, and I knew I did that, like, how would you even, I can't even fathom rationalizing that and being like, yeah, well, I'm fine with that. I'm just going to sleep like a baby. But there are people, and trying to understand those type of people is kind of pointless in my mind. So
if you didn't like this rant, please do not tune into the Power Hour.
Right. You're going to get a lot more of it.
Yeah. There's a whole plethora of it coming at you.
All right, let's take our first break of the day. When we come back, we will play an interview with Poland's standout in the soccer realm. I say it again. Now that you said I say it, I hear it every time.
You say it all the time. You said it earlier in the show.
I know. I'm going to fix that. But we'll be back with more Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. As promised before the break, we are going to share with you an interview with Noah Huda from Poland Soccer. So here is that conversation with one of the best soccer players in the area out of Poland. Anthony Hartwig here with a Poland boys soccer player profile, joined by Noah Huda, who, if you don't know, is probably one of the most decorated soccer players in our area. Noah, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And, you know, we hear all the accolades. We know how good you are now, but I want to start with the start of your soccer career, how you got started, how you fell in love with the sport, and where you got the drive to work as hard as you do to get where you are now.
So I started playing soccer when I was about 3 years old. I would always go to my sister's soccer practices, actually, when my dad coached them back then. And ever since that, just watching my sister, Skylar Huda, play, and I just wanted to grow up and be like her, kind of, and I always look up to her. And it started right there. And then I joined a rec league when I was about like 4 years old, and I found out I was pretty good at it. And everyone told me I was playing at a 7-year-old level instead of a 4-year level. And so my father, he actually made me join SVA for club, and it started off there. And ever since that, I just love playing the game. It makes me happy, and making new friendships. It's great. I just have a joy for it.
When was that moment that you realized that you weren't just good at the sport, but you had something special cooking? Like you had some good stuff that you were putting into work, and you were going to be maybe one of the best players that we see in the area. Like, when did that kind of start to kick in?
It kind of started clicking in my freshman year. I mean, all the seniors, like, they told me I had something special, and they looked up to me actually too, and that really got me going. And I mean, just having seniors asking me like what I could do better and what they could do better, and my senior class, my freshman year, really pushed me and made me who I am today, and I couldn't thank them enough for it.
So hearing so many people in your career tell you that you have something special and you got all the talent, a lot of kids might, rest on that and not work as hard when they hear that. What kept you humble, and what kept you working so hard?
So what kept me working so hard is just my father. Actually, he pushes me every day and tells me to keep working and not to rest. I mean, obviously you need rest days. That's important too, so you don't overwork yourself. But without my father, I wouldn't be the player I am today, because he really pushes me to the limit, and I couldn't do anything without him.
And talk a little bit more about that relationship with your father. Obviously, he's the coach of the girls team. We've had a chance to talk to him on his end. What's that relationship like? He probably doesn't get to see as many of your games as he hopes he would. He's out coaching his own squad. Do you guys have conversations about your games? Do you give him some advice about his girls and what they're doing? What's that relationship like when you guys both get home from games?
So it's obviously complicated at sometimes. We can't always make each other's games. Sometimes games overlap and all that. And we both understand that, obviously. And it's hard at some points. But yeah, we come home. My mother actually videotapes my games for him if he can't come out and watch me play. And he'll give me tips of what I should be doing better and what he personally thinks. And I always take them. And for his games, yeah, I help him out all the time. I give him ideas that maybe he doesn't use, but he takes them in. So, yeah, like we both love the game, and we both take our tips and everything, try our best.
Give us an example of the last time you maybe saw something in his team and you gave him advice, or you gave him a video like a scouting report that maybe he used.
Just formations, actually. Like I try to help him with formations, because he loves doing different formations for different teams. So we would watch the other team play and everything. We would discuss on if he should rather run a 3-4-3 or a 4-4-3, a 4-4-2, and stuff like that.
So when you were growing in the game of soccer, what was the hardest skill for you to master and the hardest one to kind of get a grasp of?
Probably using my weak foot and learning the techniques I have to learn with my strong foot. So like curving the ball, shooting the right way and everything, and using the outside of your foot is pretty hard growing up learning. But like I said, my father always pushed me to use it. And that's why I'm pretty well footed with both feet, and it helps me a lot, actually.
Great athletes always raise the bar. And even though you came into this season with already a lot of accolades under your belt, what kind of things did you want to improve on yourself this year? And what personal goals did you set for yourself coming into this season?
So this year, my main goal is to win a district title, obviously. We fell short for the past 2 years, my sophomore and junior year, both by one goal. And just to keep working on getting the team there. And I believe we have the talent to get there, and I believe we could go even farther than district titles, but hopefully we could get to that game again this year. It's a very true blessing to even get there. And it's been 14 to 15 years since Poland last won a district title, so it would mean a lot, but that's probably my main goal.
Let's talk about your teammates for a minute. I mean, every team is kind of unique from the team before it. What makes this year's squad and this year's group of guys unique from other teams you've been on?
So what's so special about this team is obviously we have 10 seniors this year. So we have a lot of experience, and for the younger guys, we always come to practice happy, and we always try to make everyone want to be there. Like we always try to, even on hard practices, easy practices, and recovery practices, we always try to make it fun. I believe if you're having fun, then everybody wants to be there. And if everyone wants to be there, then everyone wants to play for each other. So I feel like our chemistry is getting better every day. And I believe that we all just want to play for each other. And that's the best thing that a team could ask for.
And when you look at it and this team, like you said, 10 seniors on it, what's it like being part of such a big senior class and being a part of such a big group?
It's fun. I mean, obviously playing with all your friends and everything, and we all just want to be there, and growing up playing with each other, it's always been a goal to play together. And senior year is special, and to have all your friends there, like I said before, it's amazing. And playing for each other, we all know what we want to win, and we try our best every day.
You also play for one of the more respected coaches in the area, and Coach Garkar. What's it like being under him? What has he taught you about soccer and about yourself outside of the field?
Coach Garkar, he's one of the best coaches I've had growing up. He always pushes you, and he'll always tell you what you did wrong so you can fix it. And that's what I love about him. He always pushes us, and he tries his best to get us ready for the game. And we all respect that, and he just helps us so much. And I love that how he pushes us, and he tries every day.
What's the biggest piece of advice that you think you've taken from him, or the biggest learning tool that you've taken from Coach Garkar?
Probably not to get everything in my head. With all like the Player of the Year's awards and everything, and just keep the noise out. He's talked to me about it this year, and it's helped a lot. He helps me every day about it.
In the off season, you play against some quality competition. What is that like, and how much do you think that helps you improve your game and sharpen your tools?
It helps us a lot. I mean, to learn about how everyone plays and everything, it can help us a lot. I mean, off season, it's a great thing.
I'm assuming you have aspirations to play soccer at the next level. What are some of the other things that you want to do after high school, some careers you might want to go into, and some of the goals you have for yourself after you graduate?
After I graduate, I will be trying to go into sports management. That's going to be my major. And then I'm going to try to minor in education. My sister is also majoring in sports management, and I love sports, so I believe it's the right path for me, and I hope I enjoy it.
And then you said a minor in education too. Have you always been someone that kind of likes to teach people, whether it be on the soccer field or other things, like help them along and take them under your wing?
Yeah, I try my best to help people out. If anyone has questions, I'll try to answer it, give them the best answer. And overall, I just love helping people, and I try to be the best role model I can for the younger kids and everything. And yeah.
Who's one freshman or underclassman that you think you've really been able to guide and take under your wing, and when you leave the program, you're going to be able to watch his success and know that you had a part in it?
Jacob Hayes, for sure. He's a sophomore this year. And even this year, he hit a game-winning goal against Hubbard to put us up 2-1. He's always asking for advice and what he should do better, and I always try my best to help him out. And I hope he takes on next year as a big role and being one of the better leaders on the team, because he has a big shoes to fill and everything. But I believe he can do it.
As you get to reflect on this program and your time with it, what were some of your favorite memories with these guys and favorite memories with this team?
So for the past years, obviously winning the conference. My sophomore year, we went undefeated. Then last year with my junior class, that team, we fought so hard for each other. We had a lot of injuries actually last year, which kind of hurt us through the season, but we still got the jobs done and everything. And this year, especially, like I said before, having the joy to play with everyone, and senior year is special. So like we try our best, and that's what I love about it.
It's a tough conference you play in every week. How much does that prepare you for tournament time?
So this year we've had some hard games actually. So we've had South Range, for example, we won 2-1. That was a hard fought game. Hubbard 2-1, hard fought game. Both of those teams are very well coached and a very well good team, and we have them coming back at our place coming up soon, and we got to prepare for them. And the NEA is a good conference. It will get us ready for the playoffs this year for sure, because we've had so many hard games. Even out of the conference, we've had hard fought games. So we're getting ready.
I know everyone knows you as a soccer player, but off the field, what kind of things do you like to do? What kind of things, hobbies do you have, and where do you go to when there are those times when you do need to get away from soccer?
I love hanging out with my friends. I mean, I'm a social guy. I love going out and everything with all my friends, going to golf and going to play basketball with my friends at parks, going to the movies. But if I have to get away from everything, I usually just relax at home, play PS4 if anything, and that's about it.
What's the best hangout spot for you and your guys? Is it one of the houses? Is there a restaurant? Is there a place to go? Where's the go-to spot for you?
Probably bowling in the Boardman area. We love going bowling all the time, and it's just fun competition. We love to compete against each other. So we
Who's the
usually
best?
go bowling.
Who's the best bowler on your team?
I have no idea. I would have to go say me.
Hey, confidence is key. What's your average?
Oh, geez. Like 170, 180, something like that, around there.
Hey, that ain't bad for someone that doesn't do it like as a profession.
Yeah.
If you had to play any other sport that wasn't soccer and you could like tip your hat into it, what sport do you think you'd want to go into?
Basketball for sure. I love basketball. I'm short though, so like I don't obviously for high school I play, but for college level I'll be too short to play. But it's always fun playing basketball. I love the game. I love watching it.
You do play in high school, so what's it like kind of switching mindsets between when soccer season ends and getting into kind of basketball mode, basketball shape, and trying to put your all into that sport while you're in it?
It's for sure completely different. Especially the workout sessions and the running part, because for soccer you're always running, but like you could take breaks, but for basketball the court's short, you're always sprinting, and like just getting ready for that, it's hard. It's definitely different for your body and everything, but overall workout wise, it's good. I mean, it's all right.
Do you think it being like you said, you're not going to be playing basketball in college? Do you think that's going to make it feel different this year, knowing that this is like your last chance to play basketball?
Yeah, for sure. Once basketball season hits and everything, it's gonna be weird, I feel like. But senior year is always your special year. Everyone should be happy to even play and everything, and just have to have the best time, and once playoffs hits, all of our seniors know that this could be our last time playing together, and we grew up all together. We're all best friends, and I just don't even want to think about the day that coming to the end, but it could be stressful.
You don't have to think about it yet. It's a long way off. You still got time.
Still got time.
You still got a whole soccer season to finish too. Before we let you go, I want to know who was one soccer player, whether it be someone that played for Poland or a national soccer player that you watched growing up that you tried to kind of emulate your game after.
I'm gonna shout out my boy Justice Gonzalez. He graduated my sophomore year. I always looked up to him. He played with heart and everything, and that's what I love about people. If you play with heart, then you want to play and you want to be there, and that's what really grew on me. And plus, he really believed in me. He gave me a big role my sophomore year, and without him, I believe I wouldn't be the player I am today, and I couldn't thank him enough for that.
All right, Noah, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us a glimpse into your last season with Poland. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the year, and we'll look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was Noah Huda, one of the stars of the Poland soccer team that is fighting for an NE8 championship this year. Already big wins on the road against Hubbard and South Range. They'll, of course, have those two again, but at least they'll have them at home this time around. Noah Huda, like I said at the top, one of the most decorated soccer players in the area for sure. He's had people telling him since he was 4 that there's something special about him. And what I think makes him different is he has heard all that. He hears people say it. He hears everyone say how just naturally talented he is, and it never affects his work ethic. That old adage, hard work can beat talent when talent works hard, when talent is working. What happens when talent is working? And that's Noah. Like, he's got the natural ability. He's got the God-given talent, but he works his butt off anyway. So what do you do when talent is working hard? Good luck against that.
Well, and Noah is known across this area because he's got some great bloodlines. I mean, you talk about the Hudas in general. I mean, I think Springfield based, if I'm not mistaken. Jess Franklin, who is the volleyball coach at Palestine, is connected, as well as Todd Huda, who is the, I want to say, assistant principal at United, used to be the AD at Salem. So he's got some great bloodlines. He's got some great people that he can lean on. And he's a great young man. So like there's nothing you can't do when you have all of that going for you. And he's got the tenacity of a tiger, man. Like when he's hungry, he's going to go get it. And that kid is, I feel like he's always running on E. I mean, he's a great multi-sport athlete and a great young man in the community as well. So kudos to Noah.
Yeah, and his father's the head coach of the girls team at Poland,
Yeah.
and that means that they don't get to see each other live as much as they would like to. You know, they can't make each other's games as much as they would like to. But what I liked about that conversation is they still find time out of their day to help each other out. You know, the games get recorded for his dad, and he gets time to watch the girls film and give his dad some help, some pointers on some formations that they might want to run in their games against whatever opponent they may be. So it's nice to hear that even though they're on opposite sides and they don't get to see each other live as much as they might want to, they definitely find ways to pour into each other and build that relationship and help each other out in both those respective programs.
There you go. His sister Skylar is one heck of a soccer goalie for Hiram College. So Craig and Eric chime in, and thank you both very much. I don't know if that's one person or two. Is that like a fake? I mean, I don't know. I wish I could meet everybody that is out there watching, because it's just sometimes, I mean, these burner accounts are crazy, but Craig and Eric has been a great, whether it's burner or not, it's been an excellent account.
When it's on YouTube, it's hard to get. Usually it's harder to make a burner Facebook. You don't see a lot of those fake Facebook accounts, but when it's on YouTube, it's like, this is a toss up.
Yeah, I get nervous sometimes. I mean, especially early on when we started this, like you especially, because
I had to learn how to filter them out, because there were some unfortunate times when someone was making an account in the likeness of one of our athletes.
You got to learn how to read these before you put them up, like, and acknowledge them. Like yesterday, we had a situation with somebody, and we weren't going to address it, so we just let it go. I'm sure it's still in the comments somewhere, but we listen, it's our show. We can pick and choose. We try to involve everybody, but if you're going to be a jerk, you're out. But Craig and Eric, first,
you're in.
Like, listen, Craig and Eric, number one. They are number one search. They are awesome.
We have another soccer interview to get to, DJ, and it's one that is highlighting a big matchup tonight on the girls' side of things. Lakeview and Poland are playing each other tonight. They're both undefeated. They're playing each other for first place in the 88, and we have Lakeview senior Lexi Busafink, who joined me this morning, actually, right before the show, to kind of give us a glimpse into her senior season and what she's got going on. Lakeview program has made a dramatic turnaround. They were 4-9-1 last year when they finished the season. They're 7-0 right now, one tie, undefeated on the season. Like I said, they're going into Poland with first place in the 88 on the line tonight. So it's a big matchup on the soccer pitch. Let's hear from Lakeview senior Lexi Busafink. Anthony Harwig here with a Lakeview girls soccer player profile. I'm joined by senior Lexi Busafink. Lexi, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Senior season, I think the first thing we ask when we bring seniors on is kind of what is it like taking everything in and realizing that when you do something, it's really the last time you're going to do it.
It's honestly crazy. All the years flew by. Kind of sad knowing it's the last time. Every game's one of your last, so it's honestly sad.
I know, you still have a little bit of time to go before the season is over, but come senior night, when that happens for you guys, what are going to be some of the reflections that you have and some of the things that you think about, memories that you have with this team?
I think some of the reflections that I'll have is like how far we've come. Each year has been different. Each year has been a different experience. So it's honestly crazy like how each year like plays out. And I think it's like really crazy to see like how much everyone has improved like throughout all the years.
This year has been an incredible start for you guys. You have 7 wins on the season. You've been rolling. What's been so successful for you guys, and how has it been like to kind of share the success with your team?
I think what's been successful is like this year we definitely have people that can each play their position, which we haven't really had. We didn't really have that last year, and we have people that have been stepping up, and it's honestly been really helping us because we move people around and they like can still play a different position. So we've just been trying new things, seeing what works.
I mean, you look around this school, I mean, the volleyball team's undefeated. You guys are doing good. Football team, really good start to their season. What's the feeling around the school like, and how much excitement is there in the Lakeview community in the athletics programs?
I think the spirits is definitely up this year because of all the wins. It honestly feels really good. I think there's a lot of happiness in the school.
What about for you? What makes you kind of proud to represent Lakeview and put on the colors and wear Lakeview across your chest?
I'm just proud that I can be a part of the team. It feels good to like make a difference, and it just feels good to represent Lakeview.
Let's talk about the start of your soccer career. How did you fall into this sport, and what were some of the things that made you fall in love with it in the beginning?
I started to fall in love when I watched my brothers play. I saw how much fun they were having and what they were doing. And I started to really enjoy it like during high school when I got to play with upperclassmen, and I think it really made me like have a love for it.
What were some things about soccer and about life that your brothers kind of taught you and that you carry with yourself now that you are the senior on this team?
I think they taught me how like working hard for things definitely like makes a difference, and how much you can improve if you work for it.
As a senior, you're also asked to be one of the leaders of this team. What's that been like? What are your leadership qualities do you think that you bring to the table?
I think that being there for all our teammates and being a person that they can go to if they have questions, I think that's definitely a role that I play as a leader.
Who were some of the upperclassmen that were there for you and kind of filled that role while you were learning and you were coming up in the program a couple of years ago?
There's a few upperclassmen. Almost all of them actually were really good at being good examples. I think Allie Augustine was a good example, and just all of them, really.
All right, I know soccer is a sport on the rise. It's growing in popularity. What do you think is one common misconception that people have about the sport of soccer?
I think people think it's easy, or I don't know. I think a lot of people don't understand how much you run, and then they go and watch it, and then they're like, whoa, you guys run a lot, and they get really surprised.
What's it like for you? Like every time you get ready for a season, having to get back into soccer shape, like you said, there's a lot of running. Do you stay conditioned throughout the year, or is it something that like in the summer you have to get back into soccer shape?
I do stay conditioned throughout the whole year, but being in soccer shape is definitely a lot different than being in shape in general. So once the season does start, it is a bit of a hit at first. So
now that you're nearing your last varsity soccer game, I want to take you back to the first time you were able to step on that varsity field. What were the butterflies like? What were the nerves like? And when you think about that moment, what were some of the things that stick out to you about your first game?
I think playing varsity my first time, I was definitely really nervous. I was just trying to do the right thing. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just wanted to not do anything wrong.
Let's talk about this coaching staff and what it's been like to be under them and what they've taught you, not just about soccer, but also about yourself in general as a person.
The coaching staff has been really good for me. They taught me so much. I can always go and talk to them about anything. They always know if something's wrong or anything, so they're always there.
Let's learn about you a little bit off the field. You're obviously a student athlete. So what are some things that you like to study in school and things that you like to kind of learn about?
I like math. I like to do math. I think it's fun. I like reading sometimes. Not much of a history person, or science. But other than that, I just like most school things.
What subject do you think in your high school career gave you like the most trouble or you had to work the hardest to get a good grade in?
I think science. Science is always a struggle for me.
Maybe it's in science, maybe it's not. What's the hardest assignment or project that you've had to do in your high school career?
That's hard. Last year we had a calculator project for math, and it was a graphing calculator. It was really challenging to like put in all the graphs in the calculator.
I know you're just barely into your senior year, but are you starting to feel that senioritis kick in a little bit? Are you starting to feel like, the work's getting a little bit more tedious and you're ready to go on to greener pastures?
I do feel that a little bit, but I'm not quite there yet.
When we talk about you after your senior year and after you graduate, what are some future goals you have? Where do you want to see yourself in maybe 5 to 10 years?
In 5 to 10 years, I hope to be out of college, obviously, and I don't know. I just want to pick a career that I enjoy.
Do you have a college picked out yet, or have you narrowed it down to a couple of choices?
I do not yet. I'm still looking around.
When you think about some of the things that you're looking for, I mean, do you want to go away, or do you want to stay a little bit closer to home?
I think I want to stay a little bit closer to home, but I'm also open to anything.
If there is a kind of like one state or one city that you would love to live in or love to go to college in, dream city, what would it be?
Probably Miami.
There you go. That's pretty far.
Yeah.
That's tropical. What about some vacation spots for your family? What's your favorite vacation spot?
Usually Clearwater. That's a place we usually go all the time.
I'm sensing a Florida trend.
Yeah.
What is one place that you haven't been able to vacation that you would love to be?
I would love to go to Hawaii.
Thinking now I'm seeing a tropical trend,
Yeah.
which is far from our weather. So I'm going to ask you about the winters that we have to deal with. What's your least favorite thing about winter, and then what's something that you like about the winter season?
My least favorite thing about winter is probably going into my car in the morning and scraping off the ice. And my favorite thing about winter is probably all the holidays and like the holiday spirit.
What is your favorite holiday? Is it Christmas, or is there another one that you like a little bit better?
I like 4th of July because just the time of the year, summer. I feel like everything's usually good on 4th of July.
I feel like everyone also has that holiday that they're just like, meh. What's your least favorite holiday that you have? The one that you really don't get that excited about?
Probably Thanksgiving.
When you look at it, and if you were given the power, what holiday would you create? Like, what would be one day that you think should be celebrated that isn't yet?
I don't know. That's hard. I don't know.
What's the best gift you've ever received, whether it be Christmas or birthday or random gift? Who knows?
Probably a car for my birthday.
That's a pretty dang good gift. What about the best gift you've ever given? What's the best thing that you think you've ever given somebody?
I think the best gifts that I give are the personal ones, the gifts that I make. I usually like make pictures for my friends or make little boxes.
That kind of reminds me of the stuff that like underclassmen will do during senior night. So what are some of the things that you've done for fellow seniors that you've had in the past? And do you have any inkling of what might be coming for you on senior night?
Usually for the seniors, we get pictures and we sign it. I think that's like a thing that like the seniors can always take with them. I have no idea what they're planning for this year, so I don't know.
So it's a crazy group of girls I know that you have on your team. Give us an insight into the locker room. If you had to describe the identity of this soccer team, how would you kind of describe it?
There's a lot of energy on our team this year. A lot of energy.
Who is like the one person that brings the most? Who's the spark plug of the team?
I think Alex Piaguadio. She is one of our other captains. She always is bringing energy.
Who's the one person on the team that like if everyone's kind of in one of those days where they don't want to work hard, they can look to, and you know that she's putting all the work in, and she's kind of that role model of work ethic and hard work?
That's hard. I feel like a lot of people, I feel like if everyone, it's just all around working hard. If everyone's not working hard, then it's like a domino effect.
I know there's also a lot of speed on this team, and it's what makes you guys so hard to contend with. Who do you think is the fastest? If there is a Lakeview soccer girls race, who do you think would win? Who's got the top speed?
Definitely Eliza Farr. She's a fast girl.
Where do you rank on that list?
I feel like maybe third, fourth. I feel like on the field, my speed's pretty high, but if we were to go off the field onto the track, we have like track fast girls on our team.
What else do you like to do outside of soccer? What are some of your hobbies, and what are some of the things that you find your interest in?
Usually just hanging out with my friends. We like to drive around, listen to music.
What's the go-to hangout spot, or where's the place that your friends like to go to the most?
Usually, I don't know, just at each other's houses. We usually get food though, maybe Sheets.
Which one of your teammates has the best mom that's a cook? Like, who makes the best food?
I don't know if we have very many cooks on our team.
Ooh. What about snack bags though? I know all the moms get to bring a snack bag. Who brings the best post-game snack meal?
That's a tough one too. I don't know.
All right, so when you're gonna describe a good snack bag though, what are some things that if this is in the snack bag, then it gets a grade A?
I like Cheez-Its. I think that's an A+.
All right, so if there are Cheez-Its in the bag, A+, great job, right?
Yeah.
What's a good pre-game meal? I know you might like to put some things in your body a little bit. I know it's probably got to be light, but some athletes surprise me. So what do you like to have before a game?
Usually I like to have chicken. I know it's a basic thing, but I feel like it gives me fuel for the next day.
Do you have any superstitions on the soccer field? Any routines that you stick to on game day?
Usually I go to Circle K, get the same drinks every time. That's usually my routine.
Before we let you go, I know you have a big game tonight against Poland, and they're a really good team in their own right. What do you think it's going to take for Lakeview to come away with the win tonight?
I think we all need to be there. We all need to work hard, and just everyone needs to play their role on the team.
Give a shout out to the Lakeview community to come out and support you guys, and what it means to you to see fans out at your games.
It honestly means a lot when fans come and watch us. We love when people support us. So.
And lastly, what are some role models that you have, or who are some people that really support you in life? I want to give you a chance to just shout out your support system and all the people that are there for you throughout your career.
Probably my family. They're definitely always for me. My two brothers, they showed me a lot, and they're always supporting me.
All right, Lexi, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck the rest of your senior season, and we also look forward to talking to you again real soon. Lexi Busevink, senior from Lakeview. You can catch her in action tonight against Poland. A lot on the line. Both teams undefeated, like we said before that interview. Poland versus Lakeview. Chance at first place to the N8 on the line on the soccer field.
What an incredible interview, man. What a phenomenal interview. You did a great job of navigating that. You put some stumpers in there. I like that. I don't like these softball interviews, but again, these interviews, for those who've never watched before, we have a couple people right now, even this one. I don't know if you put this up yet. So just found out you guys are on Twitch. Let's go. My mom would let me on Facebook and YouTube. If this is your first time watching, these aren't interviews that, you're probably accustomed to. It's we dive into the game, we dive into the person a little bit, we have a little fun at the end, and we talk about role models. And you've done a great job, and certainly she did a great job with that interview. And how fortunate are we to have such great young student athletes and coaches and administrators from that standpoint that want to sit down and talk for 10, 15 minutes and kind of, I don't want to say break bread because we're never eating, but tonight. Yeah, we'll eat tonight, but break bread and talk about things that are more than just sports, because that's just as important at this age.
What I liked about that interview is every time I tried to ask her to pick a teammate that was the best at this or the favorite at this, it was hard for her. She couldn't pick out one. It was almost like she was making the I don't want to say the politically correct answer, but it's when you have a team that is so tight knit that it's hard to pick one person out when you ask like who's this or who's the energy plug or who's the hardest worker. That's always a good formula to have, and I think that's one of the reasons why Lakeview has had a dramatic turnaround in soccer this year. Like I said, going from 4-9 last year, undefeated so far this year. They're obviously a close knit group.
And that's what you want to hear. At the end of the day, you want to hear they're a close knit group, people that will be part of of each other's lives for years and years to come. And that's just as important. I know I went on a tirade earlier, but it's just as important to be able to understand and make friends and have commonalities, even when there's so many different stories on that team.
And another reason, I mean, she said it too in the interview. They have girls this year that have accepted their role and understand it and then execute it. So everyone is just out there doing their job. No one's trying to do too much. No one's trying to, change their role or do what they think they should be doing. It's like, this is what I have to do for the team. This is my role. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to understand what it is, and I'm going to go out and execute it. And that makes a team so good.
The definition of a teamer, you know what I mean,
right?
is not doing what you necessarily want to do, but doing something that's better, that makes the team better, whatever that is. So again, just wise beyond their years sometimes, these kids.
As we venture towards the end of the show, DJ, I cannot end it without giving a huge shout out to East Liverpool volleyball coach Dan McKinstry. 800 career wins as they beat Harrison Central on the road last night. What a great moment. We shared it on socials, and it just absolutely erupted. The footprints that Mr. McKinstry has on the volleyball world, I'm not going to say the other word.
Thank you.
Is just it's almost hard to even measure. I mean, I know you could go and see how many shares we had and put a number on it, but it's hard to measure the impact he's had on so many lives throughout so many different school districts.
This one's personal for me. Dan McKinstry was my teacher in 7th grade. He was my neighbor for many years. And he's a legend. When you're talking about people that don't get near enough recognition, respect, you're talking about the all-time winningest coach in volleyball history in the state of Ohio. And you're talking about a guy that walks past this office every single day. And you're talking about a guy that would give the shirt off his back for any kid that he ever played for. A guy that went into volleyball blind, had no idea of what he was getting into, learned it and became excelled at it. A guy that has sat at the table with some of the sport's greatest coaches in sports, not just volleyball, sports greatest coaches. A guy that's constantly trying to get better, even though he's at the top of the mountain, and he's done this for a long time. And I know Dan as an individual, as a person, as someone who in high school dated his stepdaughter. I know Dan as a guy that will give you what you give him, and he's a great coach. He's a tough coach, but you got to build that relationship, and I'm so happy to see him flourishing at another school district after he did so at Wellsville, for so many years. And he will continue to flourish because he gets people to believe in what he's there to do, and can he be, tough sometimes? Yes. And he's an old school coach, but he will get the best out of you if you let him. And Dan McKinstry, I couldn't be happier that not only is he the all-time winningest coach, I don't think anybody ever going to touch this record.
Not when he's still going,
I mean, 800 and counting. And, what was it, 751 or something along those lines is when he broke the record. Forgive me for not knowing. I'm trying to remember the graphic in my head, and it's not coming. But, I mean, couldn't have happened to a guy that loves the sport, loves student athletes more than he does.
800 is ridiculously hard. I don't know if people grasp maybe how unbelievable that is. I mean, if his teams won 22 games a year, just with that, it would take 36 years. And obviously he's been doing it longer than that. So not only does it take a great coaching mentality and the X's and O in volleyball, he's definitely one of the great coaches in that. It takes this dedication to what you're doing, dedication to the players that you get to coach, and a love for not just the sport, but I'm sure the love for the players runs deeper than any love that he has for the actual sport of volleyball.
Yeah, of course. And again, think about anything that you've done 800 times in your life. There's probably, you can count on one hand things that you've done 800 times in your life. And it's incredible. And to win that many times at something, be successful at something 800 times in your life. I don't know if he's got it in him, but man, if he can get 200 more wins, that'd be awesome.
Let's go once to do something 800 times, but then have someone constantly trying to stop you from doing it, right? Because that's what winning is. You're having someone else whose job it is to not let you win. So do something 800 times in your life with someone constantly trying to stop you from doing it.
Successful. Yeah. You be successful. Good. I mean, again, this should be getting more pub than it is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more pub. I don't know I would love to sit down with Dan and talk to him. That would be a show that would last an hour.
Yeah.
Because
you're not kidding.
He doesn't like doing these because it's not about him. He's a very modest man. And, if it's about his girls, if it's about, he'll do any interview you ask him to, but I want to talk about him and the journey he's had, because he's been unbelievable. Like, imagine not knowing anything, or much, I should say, about a sport and just saying, you know what? I'll do it. I'm afraid to be a soccer coach at the pre-K level because I don't have the basic knowledge of soccer. Right. But he walked into a varsity opportunity and now is the all-time winningest head coach in the Buckeye State. Incredible.
That's stuff you couldn't script in a movie and make more believable.
Graduates of Lakeview, Craig and Eric are. Don't know much about Coach, but that's great. Huge accomplishment. Yes, sirs,
indeed.
It is.
And Lakeview's coach, actually, Heather Guthrie, was one of the first to comment on our post last night to congratulate Coach McKinstry on a win. I think a lot of the area volleyball coaches rightfully understand what he means to the sport that they put a lot of time in. So it was nice to see a lot of the area coaches kind of chime in and give him congratulations and give him the proper respect he deserves.
He has all the respect in the world from me, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt.
DJ, before we get out of here, let's go over what's going to be on the network tonight. Volleyball, like said earlier in the show, 6:00 first serve. Beechwood will go to Orange. It's going to be Connor Richardson on the call there. All looking forward to that rivalry matchup in Orange Country. Brookfield will go to Liberty. Alec Caberna will be on the call. Liberty tries to bounce back from their 5-set loss last night, and they welcome in Brookfield. Campbell will go to Garfield. Ty Bartell will be in the G-Men's court, that nice gray basketball court that I love so much. Love having it featured on YSN. East Palestine will be at United. The school will be handling that one, so you can watch that. Lakeview will travel to Niles. Brian Oatridge making the trip to the Dragon's Den as Lakeview tries to keep their undefeated season alive. Big one in the EBC and West Branch as they welcome in Marlington. Battle for first place in the EBC there. South Range will travel to Struthers. Bob Zanny on the call, 7:00 first serve there. And we are also, there's a Jackson Milton Middle Ridge game that we are yellow on. So maybe Jackson Milton versus Middle Ridge. Stay tuned to ysnlive.com/live for updates on that. As we go into boys soccer, Austintown Fitch will be at Boardman. Connor Blasco and Eric Little will have the call for that one. And then Hubbard will be at Ursuline. Don Polkovich and Rowan Urbach will have the call on that 8:00 kickoff for Hubbard at Ursuline. So that's going to be your nightcap. If you watch a couple of volleyball matches and then you want to check out some soccer before you lay your head down on the pillow, make sure to check out Ursuline Soccer.
Which one are you going to watch?
Which one am I going to watch after,
after it's all said and done? What are you going to watch? Because I know you go back and watch stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm interested in the Liberty game, Liberty Brookfield. I know they've had a really good season out of conference, still trying to get their footing inside that MVAC grade tier. Can they use some of the positives that they've gathered over the season, non-conference play, to get momentum against some conference teams and get some of these conference wins under their belt?
I think I'm going to watch Beechwood and Orange. I really think I am. Like I'll be able to watch a little bit of that before I get started at Legends, but I dabble. Like I used to be able to watch whole games. I can't do that anymore. I just kind of in and out. I feel like a scumbag doing that. But from a standpoint of time, like I try to just get in, make sure all the announcers are killing it and everything looks good. I try to be Brian on a daily.
I was about to say that's exactly what Brian does on a Friday night, every night, really. But we get to see it firsthand on Friday night when he's flipping through games and making sure everybody is having a good time and is all the nails and bolts are tightened and screwed.
Something like that. I don't think Brian is a lot of things. Handyman.
I'm sure there has been like one game in our career at YSN that maybe like a bolt needed to be tightened on a tripod or something. Who knows?
I don't know where you got that one, man. You're on your
one
own.
time. My camera kept doing this, and I had to remember to tighten the handle. Handle lever.
Yeah, you twist it.
Right.
Yep.
Felt like I was playing that old Bop It game. Twist it, bop it. Remember that? Growing up, 90s children.
And that's gonna do it for our show.
All my 90s kids out there. That's how we entertained ourselves. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2. Me and Richie, we're both 90s kids a little bit. Actually, I think he can be considered a millennial, I guess. But we'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2 on Running Point.
You're a millennial.
Casual Sports Podcast coming up next. Power Hour from 3 to 4. Bunch of volleyball, soccer on the network tonight, and also South Range player profiles and coaches corners live from Legends Food and Drink.
And Golden Dawn.
Fun night.
Don't forget that. By the way, you are a millennial. Who do you think you are?
What do you call it when you're born in the 90s? I thought millennial was after.
Millennial is like
I don't know all these new generations. I thought I was like Gen Z.
I'm like you're not Gen
Z. Is Gen Z the new? I don't know. I'm totally exposing myself to not knowing which one's which. Sorry.
You're an old soul, Anthony.
We should have stopped before that. We should just hit end recording.
This is a bad realm we're in. That'll do it for our show. Bye. Say bye, Anthony.
Bye, everybody. Thank